Okay. So this is our first time doing YouTube live
So
like this
okay,
ever. Milton said he remember you. That's my mentee.
okay. Yeah, what's going on, Milton?
Let me do a face check. I just got out the shower, y'all. Am I looking okay?
You good?
Okay. I know I'm smelling good. If I don't look good, I smell good. Okay, so today is November 25th, 2024, and it is 6:31 p.m. Central Standard Time zone. I'm in Tennessee. Where you at?
Mississippi today.
Okay, you know you be all over the world. I don't
Yeah,
know, you might be in
today.
Paris. You might be in Australia. Who knows?
Next month,
London,
Japan.
Canada.
Japan. Next month
Okay, y'all.
for a month.
See, it don't even make sense, y'all. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. But this my friend. This is my friend, y'all.
You know.
So Jourdan Martin is a retired 26-year-old. You're 26, right?
Yeah.
I got it right. You're really my friend if I got your age right. 26-year-old. He's retired from like corporate America, that type of
Yeah.
thing. Um, he's a six-figure entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just letting him fact check me as I introduce him,
Oh
y'all.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm listening. Yeah.
So that's who you learning from today, my friend. We've been friends for about 5 years now. Very cool, very amazing, very demure.
Ouch.
Okay. Very outgoing, very real, very
For
demure.
sure.
So y'all just gonna join in this conversation. This ain't our first time. Jordan is not a stranger to
Nah, not at all.
D Vibes platform, K Johnson platforms at all. So this time I'll let you do your own introduction.
Oh, you already did it. I might as well introduce y'all. This is Kate Johnson, author, speaker, pageant winner. It's a lot we got with there. Woman of God. Look. Is that the period sign? Is that period?
This is hands down, hands
Oh,
down.
okay. I see. I don't keep up with the.
That's just something I just made up. There's nothing
There you
trending.
go.
I just
Visionary. But yeah, like you said, six-figure trader, six-figure entrepreneur. I've been doing business, have my own business since 2019, which is when we met. It's been well. It's always ups and downs. A lot of figuring stuff out, not having no real step-by-step guidance through either one of those things, trading or entrepreneurship. Having support, but not a hand-holding situation. But figure it out with the support. Put your head down, work hard, try stuff. I'm sure we'll talk about things more specifically, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into where we are today.
okay. Let's hop on in because we
Let's
don't
do
want
it.
to give the fluff. We want the people to get what they need. Okay, we don't
Mhm.
really do all that beating around the bush. So I just was kind of like before we got on, as I was preparing to get on live, I kind of jotted a couple things down. Now that y'all know who he is, trust him or not, hey, that's your life. Okay. So, today we're gonna focus on like mastering sales, thriving in sales, rising in sales. So that's kind of our like theme focus. Um, and of course, we're gonna talk about not making petty mistakes when it comes to
Sure.
sales. Kind of
Mhm.
some of those pitfalls, some of the mindset, attitude, um, and the focus that you need to
Yeah.
have, because you've done some amazing things by the age of 26. And so you got so much more life to live, and I know people want to know, what's up.
Sure.
So, can you first just talk about how you got your first? Don't want to say 5K or 10K. Let's start small. Let's do
Pick a number.
first 5K month.
I remember. So okay, crazy. Because I remember every milestone. I remember thinking like, "Yo, this is wild." First 5K month, first 5K day, first 20K week, first 100K month, like all of that. Like, So my first 5K month came from direct marketing, like direct messaging. So I was on Instagram, running Instagram ads to an extent, and I messaged, and I had some people who would help me from time to time. But I messaged every single person who followed me, every single person who liked the picture of something, everybody who commented, every single person sent them a DM. And so we tried different things where it's kind of a flow, right? So it would be, hey, you follow me because you're interested in stocks. You might be a beginner. You might be someone who's trading and kind of stuck, or you might just be like, yo, this is a cool dude. Let me know which one. And based on that, if they're a beginner, I'd sort them through to beginners courses. If they were, an intermediate trader, I'd move them to, whatever fits their need. So that's it. It was a lot of communication, figuring out, Jordan, I'm intermediate. I've been trading for some years. I'm kind of stuck on this and that. Hey man, I got a solution for you. All right, push them to the solution. They come back, yo, this was great, man. I'm gonna send it to my friend. Cool. But doing that, that's what got me my first 5K month in sales and business.
When I hear you talk, that sounds like aggressive. That sounds
Yeah.
aggressive. It doesn't sound passive. It doesn't sound like, oh, I'm waiting. You said direct. And I think a lot of times as an entrepreneur beginning, all that, it's even when you maybe even have a new product or a new service or whatever, or if you're transitioning to something that may make you lose who you used to sell to, can be a
Mm.
little scary. But you were very aggressive in that. So I think the biggest takeaway just then, y'all, was some aggression right there. Not like no, I'm beating down your house, but like I'm about to DM you and I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't care the outcome.
Yeah.
I care about the outcome, but I don't necessarily have any reserve inside of me that's gonna make me not DM you.
Yeah, being outgoing about and kind of going after what you want. I think that's really when you talk about the nature of how we connected even all those years ago, it was a lot of, you were very adamant about meeting new people and building connections. I was more reserved, but still interested in meeting people and building connections. You were like, hey, you want to come up? Sure. But that's how we connected, and it was then it became from both of us like, yo, this is somebody who knows where they're going, knows what they're trying to be after, all those things. I want a connection. And then we made an effort to maintain and develop and grow a connection. Right. So it's the same thing. I want to gain sales. I want to gain, you know, client brand recognition. I want these things. It's not just gonna fall in my lap, especially if you're newer to the game or newer to social media or newer to business. These folks don't know you. So you have to put your face out there and you have to go deeper than just, hey, I'm K Johnson and I got stuff. Is hey, I'm K Johnson and I can help you with this and that. Tell me what you need. Let's talk about it.
Mm. Building trust. A know factor. I like factor.
Yeah,
Trust you to buy.
absolutely.
I mean,
Absolutely.
we've heard that all the time. And so if you're tuning in, if you heard that 1,001 times, you know the know, like, and trust
Hmm.
factor. It still
Hmm.
exists. I don't care how many times you hear it. You still need to know. That's a basic. Don't ever forget it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Um, and that's what I heard when you were saying that, like a no like and trust factor. So his first 5K month came from him aggressively going after who is following me.
Yep.
Defining, determining, understanding who and why they follow me. He went through his whole followers list. Okay, now I know who's following me. Then I'm asking you a question. Why
Mm.
are you here?
Yep. Yeah. That's
And
warm,
that's what
warm
you do.
traffic too. I think that's the other part is starting off. People kind of go to just everybody's cold traffic or cold audience, meaning they have no relationship with you, no knowledge of you. But once you start establishing a brand or when you start getting your first sales, usually your first sales are friends or family, warm traffic, warm audience. Right. So that's the route that I also went with this was people who follow me. No, you sought me out. You saw value in what I had. All right. So now let me communicate further value to you to take you to the next level.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Cool. So, um, Jordan, what's the like? Okay, I think I don't. I kind of see these two as the same attitude and mindset. I feel like they kind of are like very, 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 very similar. So, if you had to say
Hmm.
what's the attitude that you have to like master sales, what would you say that is? What is that attitude?
Yeah, I feel like they could be different. Now that you kind of got me thinking about it, I would say the attitude is more of a helpful. I would say like a caring friend type of. I care about you. I want you to succeed. I want the best for you. Um, like a loving attitude almost when it comes to it. So I would say loving, caring, considerate, thoughtful. Yeah.
Okay. So you said that you think that you could answer that it's different.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we got loving, caring, friend, thoughtful. What is the mindset? Because we want to get our first 5K. We want to end up getting our first 10K month.
Sure.
And we want to make that a month. And then we want to go to the week and the day.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
what's the mindset that I first have to get that month under my belt?
No, I would say the mindset is more of figuring out how you bridge the gap with people between pain that they're having and alleviating that pain, or pleasure they're missing and providing them that pleasure, or something to bring it to the middle. And once you figure out what it is you're good at, it's okay. I can do X, Y, Z. I can cut hair. All right. Okay. How do I get people who need what I have to know what I have and figure out I'm the right choice? Right? And so that's where that caring, loving, friendship kind of attitude comes in. Where to your point earlier about like pitfalls, being too pushy and aggressive. Like nobody wants to be sold. Typically, salespeople like being sold, but that's because craft and a skill and all that. But your everyday consumer doesn't want to feel like they're being sold to. And so I really don't sell. To me, I mean, by definition, I do, but really, what I do is I provide solutions. And so, if Kay wants to learn something that I can teach Kay, hey, Kay, I will teach you how to get from A to B or from A to Z if that's what you want.
So tell me, Jordan, give me an example of
Sure.
being salesy. So let me just say, let's do like a hair product.
Okay.
Let that be the example if you can do that.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
go.
Yeah. Are you trying to role play?
Role play, come on, let's go.
Hey, Kay, have you heard about my new Afro Grow?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, you should get it because it's gonna make your hair grow a lot more than it's already doing.
But I'm really, my edges are good, you know.
They are, but haven't you ever wanted better edges?
No, actually I haven't.
Okay, well, okay, look, I'm gonna just cut to the chase with you. You need better edges. Now, you're beautiful as you are, but I think you could be even more beautiful if you get the Afro Fro Grow and
Thank
get
you.
your edges on fleek.
Thank you
You're
so much.
welcome. So why don't you get
Maybe
some?
next time. I gotta let me use this bottle of as I am first.
Okay, listen, you're making a mistake passing up this opportunity to get this Afro Grow. How about I cut you a deal? Okay.
For free.
No. But I think that's what I see a lot of, like pushy, versus I don't know if you wanted to role play, but versus where you really do get solid results is finding out if you even want it. I'm trying to put something on you that I don't even know if you're interested in. And if you were interested in, I didn't ask you anything to find that out or find out what your needs were, which like my original thing with my people is, why are you following me? And then from there, it goes into, okay, well, here's how I can help you where you're at.
Hmm.
Um,
So I just recently I was listening to something about like startups because I believe I'm still in the startup phase of my own company. And they were just talking about how, you need to make a product that a few people love and that will be able to be loved by many later
mhm.
versus making a product or a service or whatever that a few people like and try to get people to love it, many people to love it later. It's harder to turn that like of something that you have into a love later. You need to get a lot of people that love it. I mean, a few people that really, really love it
Yeah,
now. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think the biggest thing is also having, referrals or having testimonials. And when you think about the growth of your business overall, ultimately, if you want to let your business grow on its own organically, a lot of it comes to referrals. And you need people who love it to be able to give you those referrals. You need people who love it to be able to give you genuine feedback. Because if it's something we kind of care about or is cool, you can kind of take a halfway kind of approach with it. But if you really love the product, that doesn't mean it's perfect, right? But if it meets your needs perfectly, but there could be other things you could say, what can make it even better, or right. And now you have more ideas for, compatible products or spin-off products or upgrading the current thing, product or service, versus people who just like it. They won't be repeat users, they won't be repeat customers. uh, there'll just be another thing in the list of things, versus people who use it and can give you continuous feedback, continuous growth, will be more likely to buy other things you offer as well.
So a few things came to my mind. Apple came to my mind, and then
Hmm.
people, it made me think, who follows me, who's subscribing to me, because the better that I know them, the better I'm able to serve them with my product or my service or whatever the case may be. So if you're watching this, I want you to go ahead and drop in the comments, what do you do, where do you live, what do what is something, what is your passion, and what is one of your goals. And I ask that because something, sometimes you just need that real life demonstration. The second thing I thought about is Apple, because Apple has a really good way of making us feel like we need what
Hmm.
they have. We need the Apple Watch. We need the Apple AirPods. We need the Apple keyring thing. We need the Apple glass protector. We need the
Hmm.
Apple phone case and
Yep.
OtterBox. We need the Apple products, right? We need the Apple Mac, AirBook, whatever. And they have created an ecosystem of where you feel like you need this. Not
Hmm.
that you just want it, but like you need it. And so I do think, even as we're talking, studying some of the brands that are like that, some of the name brands that we know, like Love, Trust, would be a good way to kind of see how to invent your own wheel.
Absolutely. Kind of like reverse engineering something that's already a proven system. And I'm glad you brought up Apple, because that's a good example of what I was saying with repeat customers. It doesn't take you someone who likes Apple products or likes their iPhone or likes their Apple Watch or likes their MacBook, they'll be cool with it. Okay, cool. It does what it does. I'm glad I got something. But someone who loves, like when I switched over to my MacBook, I was like, yo, imagine I had one of these some years ago. All right, when you have that feeling, then when they put something else out, whether it's the upgraded version, MacBook 2025, or hey, it's the Apple Watch, Apple phone, Apple socks, whatever, you're more inclined to say, well, this thing, I love this thing. I'm going to go ahead and get the iPad, iPad mini, iPad Pro, whatever the case is, whether it's because of comfortability with the brand, whether it's compatibility with the current item you have. Right, but that creating something exceptional, I think that's the other thing, is not just the sales process, but the fulfillment of the sale. When you're selling something that is truly exceptional, one, it's easier to sell because you're not trying to sell. You, I wholeheartedly know that if you want to learn how to trade in the stock market, you come and talk to me and I coach you, assuming you're not acting crazy, you will be able to trade in the stock market successfully. I know that. I don't have to try to sell you on it. I know it. And when you work with me, even if it's a free session, we do one quick session for an hour, you realize you like, damn, yo, so many people I've worked with, our first session, our first 3 or 4 sessions, they like, dude, I was way back there. We done met 3 times and now I'm way up here. I'm like, yo, and we still got 4, 5 more weeks of this. Right. So that, just like whatever Apple product, when I then come out with, hey, I'm about to drop this course on behavior and psychology. Hey, where can I get it, Jay? Yo, yeah, I definitely, yeah, man. All right. So I'm glad you brought up Apple because that's exactly how it is.
And see what I began to think about, because maybe I have some people on here, and I'm gonna get to know y'all better. I promise I am. But maybe I have some people on here that are like me, and their face, their life,
Hmm.
their lifestyle, and what they produce from that is their brand, is their company, like me.
Yeah.
And so I began to think, okay, well, how do I continue to make me exceptional? I'm already unique, being the fact that there is no other me.
Right.
But there are people who do things like me.
Hmm.
So how do I continue to separate myself? The other thing I thought about, Jourdan, is really being intentional about serving people. Because when you started to talk, I just heard value. Even
Yeah.
with the first sessions, like value is what you bring. And then there are also things when people say they're gonna give you something or do something and deliver something to you, you pay for it, and you get burnt by them not doing it. Who got time for that? Like,
Right.
I'm really trying to move my life forward and you're
Yeah.
lying, right? And so it's also for entrepreneurs out there, like, if you cannot deliver on something, like, give the people their money back, apologize, like, do something to, like, because your name is in these streets, right? And some of you
Absolutely.
may not care, but I just believe the people that listen to us care about their name, their brand, their company, their future, their reliability. And so you want to be really meeting a need, like, seriously, like he said, I solve your problems, I'm meeting your need. And so that's what I heard from you, is like that value part, like, what does this person need? Because there's been times people have approached me and I'm like, maybe you might be a good person that I need, but I it's not the right time.
Hmm.
And that's a lot of things too that people have to kind of be aware of. Like, is it the right time for your product? Is it the right time for the person? And I think there's a lot of ego involved when we first become entrepreneurs. We're like, we feel sometimes entitled to people purchasing things from
Yeah.
us and all of that,
Absolutely.
and it hurts.
Yeah.
And I believe that entrepreneurship, you have to have a level of letting your ego, your pride be killed, be
Yep.
slayed, be like destroyed, because sometimes it's just not the right time for people. But how do you maintain a relationship? Because you know you provide value, you know that they need what you have,
Right.
but it might not be the time. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So I'm gonna start off with the end piece of what you said. You get to a point where you have to accept that not everybody is a client for you or a customer for you. Uh, you also get to a point where you accept that even if they might be, if they're not the ideal customer or client, it might be a better return on your money or your time, etc., your investment, to not take them as a customer or client. The reason being is either even if it's a simple product, because of the reputation factor, because of branding, because of word of mouth. If I have someone who might be disgruntled, I won't even do an example. I'll do a real life of what I do. I coach people in the stock market. I turn people down. There are people who have said, "Yo, I got the money. I send you this much." That's all right. I don't think we're a good fit for each other. All right, and so this is me turning away thousands of dollars when it's right there in front of my face. I don't think we're a good fit. And one, even though they might have had the money, if we do work together, and I can already tell from your energy, your attitude, whatever, that it's not going to go well, now I've created a bad customer experience. And it's not over a $5 product, it's over $1,000 service. And so when I'm talking about my service, you might be there. I worked with him and it was horrible. I didn't like it. It was this, he was that, he was this, he was that. And I already knew how it was going to be. Right. Or even if it's not me, I work with Jordan and I still don't know nothing about the stock market. I just don't get it. But I could tell from the conversation we were having before, they're not going to really grasp it because they're focused on how quick can I turn $10 into 1,000 and not how can I really learn this skill. And if you can't really go into the mindset of let me learn this skill, me coaching you isn't going to work. It's like somebody who's playing basketball and all they want to do is shoot. They don't want to do conditioning. They don't want to play defense. They don't want to learn how to pass and read the plays. So then when they doing bad, they want to blame coach. I should have just left your ball hogging self wherever you was at. So that's that. But maintaining the relationship when it's not the right time and being honest with yourself. One of the things I think was the best thing for me in regard to that was having different offering no matter where the person is on that scale. So when it comes to what I do, right, with coaching and teaching people in the stock market, you're either somebody who doesn't know nothing about it, you're somebody who's been trying it and kind of ain't getting it, trying it and you kind of got it, or you just got it, right? And even before the person who has no knowledge of it, you can come to me and have the knowledge, but you might not have the money to start trading. That's okay. I have this free beginner's course that will walk you through XYZ, 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 XYZ. Cool. You have a sound foundation. In the meantime, while you're going through the course, start budgeting a little bit. Maybe you pick up a little side gig here and there, stack some extra bread. You don't got to do it for 10 years. Let's get you enough to throw in your trading account. All right, cool. So if you're at that spot, I have something to meet you there. If any spot you're at on the chain, I have something that I can meet you with. And if not, then it could just be, hey, you got any questions, just holler at me. It could be something as simple as that, or sending some charts or ideas. Hey, this came across, I saw this in the news. Did you see this? Tesla's doing this. Did you see this? Apple's coming out with this. Even something as simple as that can help you stay in the front of their face. And that's all you really want at the end of the day because when they are ready, who comes to mind? That's who they're going to go to. And I've also experienced folks being in that spot where they said, Jordan, I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, Jordan, I want to work with you. Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I saw such and such person post and I was about to do it with them. And then I said, wait, that Jordan guy, I've been following him forever and his content, I'm going to go with Jordan. I was kind of on the edge with them. Right. So I continue to be in front of their face so much that even when something else was going on, they thought about me. They also weren't a client that I took on because it wasn't a good fit. But but at the end, right, that's how you do it though. You want to have something regardless of where they're at. And even if there's nothing you feel like you can provide for where they're at, information, tips and tricks, that type of stuff that never goes out of style. Even if you know a lot about something, there's always stuff that can just kind of be popped back in your head. You say, "Oh man, I forgot about that." So that's how I would say you do that.
And I think Jordan, like one person came to mind, I'm gonna mention her, but I think too that building that type of layering,
Hmm.
you have to be walking the journey to be able
Yeah,
to build that type of
absolutely.
layering because you don't just know that without maybe you know it after because you've done research for some time, but still you've walked the journey of research. Maybe you've had some conversations with people.
Right.
Maybe you've interviewed for information with people. Maybe you've been in some whatever you've done to be able to understand that. Because without that love, you don't just come into that level of understanding just because we having this conversation, or just because you want to. You have to actually go through that. And I think a lot of times we're talking about mastering sales, you all. There is a process because we're talking about mastering the mindset of it, the attitude about it, the process within it, and you cannot become offended with your mastering sales process. Because with whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, whatever you're becoming, I don't care if you're going to go to a career, you have to master the art of selling yourself,
Yep.
because you are a brand to that career industry as well. And everybody's not called to be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not, God didn't call you and say, "Hey, I need you to be an entrepreneur." That's okay. Some people have been called to really be inside of the company and to make the company millions of dollars and to be promoted and to be a director, because you know how to manage people well. You know how to help somebody manage the company well. And that is perfectly okay. But mastering the sales and selling yourself to new people who are going to be under you, you
Hmm.
have to find purpose in all of that. And so I think we're not just talking about this from one angle. You just have to kind of pick up what we're not saying as well. A person that came to mind when we talked about that value, that information, is this lady named Ashley Kirkwood. I cannot wait till I'm able to be a part of her membership. I cannot wait till I have the dimes, the nickels, the pennies, the dollars to
Yeah.
like do business with this lady, because she
Hmm.
has a podcast, she has a book that's a low ticketed price thing, right? She's a high premium type of woman, but she has so much information that she drops on the daily that always makes me be like, when I get a chance, when I get what she already got done giving me, done
Hmm.
gave me, I'm gonna rock with her, like for real.
Yeah.
And so that's just real. Just I want y'all to think about the person that you want to work with, the job that you want to go to, like why, and just think about their process and what they're doing to feed you information, because I just heard this recently back in October. It was saying best known beats best product. Some of us, we are better than some of these products and services out here, but we're not known.
Yep.
And we're letting ego and fear, is a face of ego, keep us from showing up in spaces, on the internet, conversations, whatever it is, little research groups, case study groups, whatever it is. We're allowing that to keep us from mastering sales. So let's talk about some petty mistakes that you've
Sure.
made.
Oh man,
So tell us a story
my mistake. Okay.
about maybe a petty mistake that they don't have to make, that they can walk in
Sure.
abundance without making a petty mistake.
Sure. Um, take me back. I, my biggest mistakes lately really was taking on clients I shouldn't have took on. um, I would say that I wouldn't even. I feel like that's deeper. That's deeper than a mistake that might have cost me a sale. Um, and I think personally for me, I've never really had. I had one potential sale. I think that I can. This comes to mind that might have been worth it that I lost, and that was because I didn't respond to the person for like a year. And they
Mhm.
had asked me how they could work with me, and I didn't respond for a year. And I came back and I was like, yo, I didn't see this, my bad. And I was like, look, I already worked with somebody who actually knew how to respond. I said, dang, that's fair. But so
That's
I would say that, and that can go to lengths of either you're checking your messages consistently or you're having someone on a team. And it doesn't have to cost a lot. I've had a team run my social media that cost 5 figures a month at one point. I've also had no team, but hey, little bro, hey, friend, hey, cousin, hey, mom, you mind hopping on these DMs with me real quick? Yeah, I got you, Jordan. So I would say two things. I'll talk about both. Is that making sure you're doing your follow up, making sure you're responding. And when I say follow up, when I was sending those initial messages, a lot of people wouldn't respond. But then I follow back up and be like, hey, I see it. You got the message. You might have thought it was a bot or something. Hit me back. And then a lot of people would be like, oh man, I did think it was a bot. Yo, yeah, I'm a beginner, bro. We get into the whole what would have been bad if it was a bot anyway, but whatever. But um the other one I would say is definitely taking on clients you shouldn't be taking on, adjusting your prices to try to get a sale. Don't do that.
Oof.
Don't devalue what you offer. It's important to make sure you aren't charging $10,000 for a $1,000 product or service. You should really be charging $1,000 for like a $5,000 service. And they were like, "Yo, yeah, this is crazy. It's worth it." But don't drop your price down for the sake of, oh, Kay's cousin said they trying to get it, but it's $1,000. They only got 300. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna knock it down to 300 for you. Don't do that. Not only does it start to devalue it in your mind, really, but in the marketplace as well. Right? If Apple dropped their phones, Apple don't do Black Friday deals. If Apple dropped their phones down from $1,000 to $400, the whole year wouldn't nobody buy Apple phones for real until the $400 day. They still make profit because their phones probably cost $20 to make, but right, it just loses the value if you don't hold stuff in high regard that has less value. And we had two cars that were covered in a little car tarp, and one said, "Hey, this car on the right is going $100,000 car. The one on the left is a $20,000 car." Take a hammer to one of them. You're probably gonna leave the one you perceive to be more expensive alone because it's more valuable in your mind, and you don't even know nothing but a number they say it might be. Right. So I'll say, last example of that, I was talking to another guy in business, same age as us, and he was explaining this to me because I was kind of running into the issue. And he was further along than I was. And he said, "Man, imagine somebody was selling a Lamborghini for $25,000, and this is a $200,000 vehicle. If somebody was selling it for $20,000, you'd be like, something got to be wrong with the damn car. You selling a Lambo for 20,000 when it's 200,000 for real? Something's wrong with it. Is it gonna break down on me immediately? Like you already are associating lower value things with it because this thing has been devalued. All right. So I would say those are two. I don't know if they're just petty mistakes, but those are two mistakes that I've made over the time.
I like that you pointed out like the not responding and then
Mhm.
following up and saying, "Hey, I don't know if you know this is about."
Right, right.
And I think for me, I want you to tell me yes or no. I'm gonna keep on, but the more you ignore me, the more I'm gonna send a message and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, you didn't say yes or no." Right? I'm looking for you to give me a definitive answer so that I can move on. But
That's real.
from move on from you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
there is somebody that's willing to say yes. And so if you're in
Yeah.
the place of I don't know, you got stuff going on, that's fine. And I
Yep.
think a lot of the time for me is that I would get sad. I would like so associate myself with what I was doing that I wasn't
Mhm,
able to detach me from the
mhm.
outcome. And if I didn't sell it, I would think I was a failure, whatever the case may be. So that's again ego. Like you have to be able to detach who you are as a person from what you do, even if your brand is who you are. Because
Right.
they're not rejecting you most of the time. It's just maybe you're not good enough for them yet. Maybe you're not likable enough for them yet. Maybe the content that you have out is not quite exactly, and that's okay. Don't be offended with your process. Um, so I like what you said, but sometimes people be tripping. They know they don't think it's a bot. They just don't want to respond.
Mhm.
But I want to say, just like go ahead and just chase the no, chase the yes. Like
Yeah,
get it a definitive answer.
I like that. That just kind of made me feel like getting in the field and sending some messages, because it's real, And I'll say this as well. One of the things that I did was I asked people who said no why they said no.
Hmm.
And so a
That's
lot of
good.
people, weren't responding when I was like, okay, well, why aren't you interested in whatever, whatever, whatever? You told me you were a trader who was dealing with this issue. I told you a potential solution. I showed you where I can give you multiple solutions through this course on how to fix your problem. And you said no. Why? All right. And so with that, then you're able to learn from those no's to be able to combat the objectives, or not the objectives, sorry, the objections beforehand. So I don't have to deal with I tell you that I really don't deal with objections like you would imagine. And a lot of it is how I structure my content, how I structure my messaging, how I structure when I'm talking to people. Anybody who's about to be a mentee of mine, we have a call. I don't just let random people pay me to coach them. I mean, I probably make more money that way, but that's not how I want to do it. And so in the call, I don't run into, oh, your price is too high, or this, that, because I already have certain things. Okay, depending on, right. For example, if your price is typically considered too high, you could offer a payment plan. And so if you mention that payment plan during the conversation, you're eliminating rules for them, reasons for them to say no. So yeah, okay, I have this thing, this the Afro grow, yada yada yada. You know, Jordan, it sounds good, but how much is it? It's $3,000. I understand that may sound steep initially to some people, which is why you can split it up over whatever.
Come on,
If that's
Afterpay.
if that right, and that's why that stuff works. Because if you want the product, let's not let your current budget stop you from getting what you know you need.
Come on, scholarships and loans and grants.
You know what I'm saying?
Nah, that's
Literally,
facts
right?
though.
So that's the other thing is once you know why it's a no, oh well, it seems complicated. So next time you explain it, how can I explain it so it's very simple? Hey, let me send you. I know we're talking about it. I already texted you an outline so that you can understand how it all works. Boom.
That's good.
Nobody can tell me it's too complicated no more. Nobody can tell me they can't afford it no
And I think it's good that you pointed out asking people why they said no.
more. Yeah.
And just being, very careful and say, hey, if you don't mind me asking, why did you say no? I really want to better understand. Um, so we have been on here for 42 minutes, you all. And I don't know what happened to Jordan's thing, but
Am I here? I'm not here.
you went blacked out or something, but we can
I
hear
got
you.
a phone call. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I just can't see you.
All right, hold on.
Um, but maybe we'll do a Rise and Thrive sales masterclass in 2025. But
Dang.
yeah, I will not be on live. I don't think I will be on live in December, you all.
What?
I don't think I will. But you will still see content and we'll chop some of this stuff up. But maybe we'll do another Rise and Thrive in 2025. Sounds good to me. It rhymes. Um, is there any lasting things that we want to say? And I think too, even if you get rejected from a job, you all, I think it's good to ask them why. If they'll give you a response, it's a way that you do stuff, and you do it as a way to collect information, not as a way to continue to sell to them, not as a way to continue to be like, hey, you might take some time off and then reapply or reapply some pressure in the DMs again, but not immediately. You want to understand, go work on it, come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
I'm
think my
glad.
biggest thing is don't be offended with the process of mastering sales. But it starts with a certain mindset, thoughts, processes, a certain attitude. Be the loving, caring friend that is providing a solution that really wants to get to know what solution they need from you. And be layered. If you don't have what they need on this level, provide information to them today so they can stack their bread to pay you because you ain't
Hmm.
gonna lower them prices.
Hmm.
We're not doing it, hands down, okay? Hands down.
I'm gonna work on
Hands
that
down.
one.
They did this.
Ooh,
Period. What we doing? Hands
yeah.
down.
Man, I don't know why I just feel too. I'm too old.
Hands down. Hands down. Okay, anyway, I just made that up. That's gonna really go viral one day, hopefully. I
Hands down. I'm
don't
like, yo,
know.
am I doing it right?
Yeah,
All these junks on
So is there
Tik.
anything lasting that you want to say to the people? Because we about to cut it
Uh,
off in about 30 more seconds.
get after it. I mean, it's not something that can be done. It's a skill. So you certainly have to acknowledge that, like learning how to sew, learning how to paint, you could do it, but you have to understand it's a skill that requires training, lessons, practice. Don't be afraid of the rejection. Understand it'll come. Embrace it. Learn from it. Practice, 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 uh, and seek. Yeah, just continue to seek improvement. It's out there. Whatever you want to get, selling yourself in business, selling yourself. interviews, selling yourself as a potential partner in a relationship, right? You have to learn to communicate your value so that others can perceive your value. And then once they get that, you get what you want.
You heard it
Boom.
here first. Get what you want. Rise and thrive. Sales masterclass, mastering sales. We love y'all, but God loves you better than we ever could. Okay. So get these sales together. You got this as you go into Black Friday and the Cyber Mondays and the Christmas season and the New Year season. Do your thing. We vibing out. All right. Peace.
So, peace.
Thank you, Jourdan.
Hands down. All right. See you later.